4. Seven. Giant steps is notoriously one of the most feared jazz standards for musicians to learn and improvise over, not only because of the complex harmony, but also because of the speed. So today I'm going to talk about how we can learn the chords most efficiently so we can improvise over them well and find out the harmonic secrets that Giant Steps has to offer. Let's do this thing. So before we dive into the analysis of Giant Steps, it's important that you make sure you understand the melody very fully and very completely and how the melody relates to the chords themselves. This will set you up for a massive advantage when learning Giant Steps or any other jazz standard. And when it comes to learning jazz melodies, I always recommend doing this by ear. And if that sounds like something that's very intimidating to you or you've never done that before, well, I would highly recommend using my LIST process, which stands for listen, internalize, sing, and transfer. And I have a free guide that will really help you along with that called Learn Jazz Standards the Smart Way. So I'll be sure to leave a link to that in the description or the show notes. So a member of my team, Brett Pontecorvo, made a great analysis for our inner circle members when we studied this jazz standard in our inner circle. So I'm going to pass it on to Brett so that he can explain this a little bit further.
Thank you so much, Brent. Really excited about this tune. When you look at the chords analysis, you will see right away there are 3 colors, and there's not too much of any color. It's pretty evenly distributed between the 3 keys: B major, G major, and E flat major. And we almost always are going 5-1, and if we're not going 5-1, we're going 2-5-1. So let's go through it slowly so you can see these cadences, and we'll go from there. All right, so we start in the key of B major for 2 beats only, and then we go right to D7. So it's a really fast time that we're on B major. And D7 is the 5 of G major 7. So if we're thinking about the G major scale, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. D is our 5th note. So 5 of G brings us to our new key center of G major. And G major, of course, we don't hang out on too long because we're moving right along here. We go to our B flat 7, which B flat 7 is 5 of E flat major. So 5, 1. Now, that was a lot of information, and we are only in bar 3. We're in bar 3. 1, 2, 3. So how do we make easier sense of this? We can think about it in terms of a pattern, at least for the first 2 bars, that we start on whatever chord we start on, so B major in this case, and we go up a minor third to 5. So B up a minor third to D, in order to modulate to that G major 7. Now, if that thinking is too fast for you, which for me, that thinking is a little bit too fast, you can also think you are moving down a major third to G. And so for me, it is much easier to say, okay, B major is moving down a major third, and then fill in the blank, right, whatever your 5 is, than it is for me to think, I'm going to play a D7 chord. So that helps take load off of my brain, but you're going to think the way that it's most efficient for you. So if coming up to D7 is an easier way for you to think, then definitely say you're going to go up that minor third to G major 7, up a minor third again to B flat 7, to our E flat major 7. So just in the very beginning, we have hit all 3 key centers. Pretty cool, right? And we stay here for the longest that we've stayed so far. So in this key of E flat major for 6 beats. Now, when we get this A minor 7 chord, you might be thinking, where on earth did that A minor 7 chord come from? Well, it is 2 of G, which makes D7 5, which makes G major 7 the major 1 chord in that key, of course, right? So 2-5-1, 2-5-1. We can already see there are some opportunities here to play things that make the 5 go to the 1. Actually, there are quite a few. We've got 5-1 here, 5-1 here, and 5-1 here. So lots of 5-1s. G major 7, but not for long, just for 2 beats. When we go to our next 5, to our next 1. So already modulating back to E flat, but just for 2 beats because we are going to end this thought, kind of, right? We're ending the thought in the key of B major 7. So F sharp 7, tonicizing this B by going 5-1. Okay, so that's how that works. Now we've made it to B major again, right back where we started, by moving down, right? So we started on B, moved down to G, moved down to E flat, then we went up again to G, to E flat, and to B, right? So it's kind of, if we like drew it out like in a longer fashion, it would be like B, G, E flat, G, E flat, B. So it's almost like taking this arpeggio or chord, if you want to think about it that way, and going down 2, then back up, and down 2. So you can think about it that way too if you're trying to organize the key centers. The melody is also really helpful to organize these key centers because the melody kind of goes with the notes, right? It's like you think ba-do-do-do-do. You know each of those sounds is going to get a different chord. Okay, so we have landed on our B major 7, and now we have another 2-5. So we can be thinking, we see that this is a 2-5, right? And if we know that those are the numbers, 2, right? Well, what is F2 of? F is 2 in the key of E flat major. I'm using a lot of numbers here. Every scale note gets a number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. So 2-5 of our E major 7 chord. Now this is kind of a cool thing that happens here in the second half of the tune, because in the second half of the tune, instead of going our previous modulation, right, which we were before going down by major thirds here, this time we're going up by major third. E flat, G, B, E flat. So we're doing a similar movement, but in the opposite direction. And in order to do it in the opposite direction, the 5 chord of the next key is a half step down from the key you are currently in. So we're starting on E flat major. Now we have this 2-5 here, but the 5, when we think about the root movement, is a half step down, right? So here's our E flat, and if we're gonna do just 5-1, there is a 2 there. Half step down to D, goes to G major. Half step down to F sharp, goes to B. Half step down to B flat, goes to E flat major. And then we end with our 2-5, which brings us back to B major. So those are the chords, friends. They're fast, but they're not too hard. If you practice them slowly, you will be able to play them. The chords themselves are not challenging. It kind of is more the speed that things are changing. So wrapping your head around those 3 keys. So all together, we have our 1 chord, then we have our 5 to the next key center, G major, and our 5 to the next key center of E flat major. Now we have a 2-5 going to the key of G major, 2, 5 to G major. Then we have 5 to E flat major, and 5 to B major. Now we're moving to the second portion of the tune where we are going up by major thirds rather than down by major thirds. So our E flat, 2-5 to G, 2-5 to B, 2-5 to E flat, and then finally 2-5 back to B major. So those are the chords, and I encourage you to practice them slowly and think about intentionally, why do we have the chords where they are? And the answer is because we're changing keys. But when you feel in your chest, you feel in your body that you know why the chord is there, it's going to move you through the song. 5-1, 5-1, 5-1. And the melody can be really helpful on this tune in particular.
All right, so big thanks to Brett for doing that chords analysis for us. By the way, we did a full-on study of this tune in our Inner Circle membership. So if you'd like to get improv exercises like Coltrane patterns, melodic voice leading exercises, chord tone maps, as well as an etude composed by our in-house composer, a training video, and more, go go check out the link to our inner circle in the description or the show notes, and we'd love to have you join us. All right, so the next logical question is, how do I actually start improvising over giant steps? Well, on the screen right now, I have a video for you to check out. It's about how to go from amateur sounding solos to pro level sounding solos. I go over some strategies that are helpful not only on giant steps, but any other jazz standard. So go ahead and check out that video now. I know you'll find that really helpful. Make sure you like this video if you found it useful. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you back in the next video. Cheers.